Hi everybody, Dan Illman here taking a look at race number 10 at Parx on Pennsylvania Derby Saturday, one of the better betting races on the card. This race is at 3/4 of a mile for 3-year-olds. $300,000 is the purse. It's the Grade 2 Gallant Bob. Let's take a look at this ultra-competitive field. It is a big field of 3-year-olds. The number 3 Provocateur from My Racehorse Stable and Spendthrift Farm. Trainer Todd Pletcher. Jockey Irad Ortiz Jr. 4-1 on the morning line. Tepid favorite. He's a very consistent, capable, likable horse with tactical speed, and he has that tactical speed to work out a good trip. We'll see that on our Timeform US pace projector, which has Provocateur relatively close to the pace in a red bar situation, a race that could have a fast pace up front. And I agree with Timeform US that the 10 Lightning Larry should be forwardly placed. I believe the 5 Little Vic is also going to be close to the pace, but I also think the number 4 Speaking, that horse can be close as well. The one time he tried Provocateur in the Jersey Shore, they took him off the pace. He ran well, but I believe he's better when he's up close. Practical Coach turning back in distance might show a little bit of early foot as well. We'll start things off with a horse that's going to be rallying from well off of the pace at a big price, and that's the number 1 Dance Code. This horse ran against fellow Pennsylvania-bred stakes competition last time out at Parx, and he just never got out of first gear. He trailed throughout. True, the pace was not fast. True, the track seemed to be favoring speed, but I just needed to see him do something to make me a little more interested, and he never did anything. The 4th place finisher did come back to win a second-level allowance at Parx earlier this week. Dance Code has shown some ability in some of his prior races, but to me, he seems like the horse, even at a big price, that's going to need a bit of a pace collapse if he's going to upset the first leg of this 50-cent pick 4. The 2 is Of a Revolution, who just finished second last time out at Charlestown. He's a very lightly raced horse, and I believe he has upside potential. He's only been off the board once from 7 lifetime starts, and he's going to get blinkers for the first time here. I talked to his trainer, Safi Joseph, earlier this week, and Safi told me that he worked this horse in blinkers 8 days ago, a bull at half mile and a scorching 46 and change up at Saratoga. That convinced him to run Of a Revolution with blinkers in this spot. This is a horse, again, his last race at Charlestown was a 2-turn sprint. He didn't have to be his best over that configuration against a lot of hope. 2 starts back, he was beaten by Provocateur. He's been beaten by a few of these horses, but not by much, and maybe the blinkers give him a little bit of speed, a little bit of focus, and helps him finally reach his potential. He's interesting at a price. Flavien Prat takes the mount for the first time. The 3 is Provocateur. This is a horse, he's always been solid, always been professional, always been consistent, but in this race, the Jersey Shore Stakes, he was fast. He earned a career best 91 Beyer speed figure, and he beat 4 of these opponents that day. Cutting back to 3/4 of a mile might have been key for Provocateur. 7/8 seems a little bit far for him, but this 6-furlong distance is right up Provocateur's alley. He has excellent tactical speed. He's a major contender in this race as he steps back up into the graded stakes ranks. I'm not sure I want to take too short a price on him. I'm not sure he has such an edge over this competitive field, but he is a major contender for Todd Pletcher. Speaking is the number 4, a New Jersey bred that just beat New Jersey breds in this race. The New Jersey Breeders' Handicap at Monmouth going 3/4 of a mile. And in this race, he reverted to the pace-setting tactics that worked so well for him early in his career when he was a stakes winner at Monmouth as a 2-year-old. He wins this race in comfortable fashion with a respectable 86 Beyer speed figure. I think he's a horse that still has some upside. He's likely going to face a lot more pace heat in this race. I think the fractions are going to be a lot faster, but he is a consistent horse capable of running fast races. It's all about whether he can get the right race flow. Little Vic is the number 5, and Little Vic was bet down to 5-1 in the Grade 3 Chick Lang 2 starts back at Pimlico during the Preakness meet. He caught a speed-favoring track, and he had the misfortune of being bounced around at the start, and that really cost him all chance that day. He returned off a layoff most recently at Parx, and he was beaten by Scaramouche, who's also in this race. I wonder if Little Vic's connections, though, were using that race as a prep. He showed good speed, he tired, I think he gained a lot of fitness, and that race was a very good tightener for Little Vic, a horse that I expect to show nice speed in this race. Jelly Nougat is up next, and this is a horse coming in from Churchill Downs, and he's cutting all the way back in distance. I think the plan for Jelly Nougat, a horse that's shown speed in middle distances, but I wonder if he has the gas to keep up in the early portion of sprint races. I think the plan is to take him back, try to make one run. He's coming out of a key race at Churchill Downs, an open first level allowance. The winner would come back to win a second level race with a 91 Beyer speed figure. Jelly Nougat is going to have to prove himself against Stakes Company. This will be his first race in a stake of any kind, let alone a graded stakes race. Turning back in distance, fast pace works for him. Maybe he can close at a price to get a piece. Up next is the 7, another horse that's looking for a similar situation. No Sabe Nada. This is a big, strong, one-run, late-closing sprint type who just finished third in this race at Delaware Park, a second-level allowance heat. I think he was compromised by the lack of pace in this race. They ran a half-mile in this three-quarter event in 45-4, far from blazing. He was able to get up for third. He's yet to kind of break through with that very fast race, but early in his career as a 2-year-old, he showed a little bit of promise and a little bit of kick. 2 starts back in the Housebuster, he caught Conager in a race that was run in very, very fast time, and he was far from disgraced. Another horse that can come from out of it. The number 8 is Witty, and they took a chance with Witty last time out, stretching him out in the Grade 3 Smarty Jones against a really nice 3-year-old trained by Brad Cox named Best Actor, and it didn't work out for Witty after he took a stutter step start. Go back to his sprint races, and you'll find out this is what he wants to do. In the Provocateur video that we showed you, Witty was able to rally and run second. He likes sprinting. He showed that when winning the Spectacular Bid, going 7/8 of a mile at Laurel in his first start of the year. He likes Parx as well. This is a rebound candidate because I think the last race was not his best distance. Now he's turning back to a distance he's very comfortable at, and that 87 Beyer against Provocateur 2 starts back. If he can build slightly on that, he's an interesting player. Runnin' Son of a Gun is up next, and this horse is getting some class relief. He ran into the best 3-year-old dirt sprinter in the country, Jack Christopher, last time out in this race, the 8 Challenger against the premier race for 3-year-old dirt sprinters in North America. Runnin' Son of a Gun ran just fine. He ran third. He was only beaten 4 lengths. He earned a 97 Beyer speed figure, coming off the heels of a 91 Beyer speed figure when he faced Grade 1 winner Gunite in the Grade 2 Amsterdam. His only real blemish recently came when they tried to stretch him out against the very impressive 3-year-old Charge It going a 1-turn mile in the Dwyer. This is a horse that should get the right setup. He's not really a closing type, but he's more of a mid-pack runner, so I think he's going to settle in mid-pack while the speeds go. The pace should be fast, and Louis Size figures to have Runnin' Son of a Gun on the move, on the turn. This is some class relief for him. He's a very dangerous contender. Lightning Larry is the number 10, and he might have taken advantage of the speed-friendly nature of the Pimlico course 2 starts back in the Grade 3 Chick Lang when he pulled off a $26 upset. I talked to his trainer, Jorge Delgado, and he said lots of things went wrong in the Jersey Shore, a race where he was the beaten favorite in against Provocateur. He got bumped at the start, he sprang a shoe, he wound up in between horses, basically running on 3 shoes, and they just want to give him an excuse for that race. They feel he's training very well coming out of there. He might be the speed of the speed. He loves 6 furlongs, and if you do want to give him that excuse, you're left with that very strong 91 Beyer at Pimlico 2 starts back when he was close to the pace. The number 11 in here is Nakatomi, and this is a horse trained by Wesley Ward, who scored last time out at Churchill Downs. It was his first race off of a lengthy layoff, and I thought he looked very good in beating second-level allowance company. He didn't have the greatest break from the gate that day, but he just swung into action, and he was able to score nicely, overcoming a moderate early pace. He has not raced since that effort back on June 26th. And when I talked to Wesley said the owners are mad at him because they've wanted to run. Nakatomi's been ready to run. Wesley's been waiting for the spot, and he feels the Gallant Bob is the best spot. He shows some quick workouts at Keeneland leading up to this race, and is another horse that could benefit from a good pace up front. The 12 is a lot of hope, a very well-bred son of Editorial, editorial is a half-brother to Uncle Mo by Warfront, and he is a half-sister to Street Loot, who's won about 8 or 9 stakes races in the Mid-Atlantic region for trainer Jerry Robb. A lot of hope. Started out his career with a lot of promise. He had some tough trips in some of his losses. If you go back in your free Formulator past performances, when you play this race with your DRF Bets account, you click on the short comment, you'll get to see the replays of all these races. He's put it together in his last 2 starts. He won the Star de Nazca 2 starts back by 15 lengths. It was as easy as pie. He won the Hilton around 2 turns, going 7/8 of a mile. I talked to Jerry Robb, and he said this horse just has a remarkably long stride. But when he gets in behind horses, that stride is compromised. And what they've attempted to do in his last 2 races is get him to the outside, get him into the clear, where he can stretch his legs. And boy, he stretched his legs in his last two very fast races. Jerry Robb told me he's very happy with a lot of hope's outside post position in this race, where he can settle in the clear and come with a wide run. Practical Coach is up next, the number 13, going out for trainer Butch Reed. They're going to try to cut him back in distance. He won a couple of middle distance races, 2 and 3 starts back. He was the pace setter in the Smarty Jones. Again, he was overmatched in that race against Best Actor, and now they're going to cut him back in distance. Personally, I think he's slightly better at middle distance races when he can get close to moderate paces. Here he's likely going to have to rally just a bit from out of it or stay close to a fast pace. He's going to be a good price. I don't want to knock him for excellent connections, but I think this could be too tough a spot at a distance that might not be his best. Scaramouche is the 14, and this horse is in raging form, and if you believe in horses for courses, he's won 5 of his 6 at Parx, including this race, an allowance event on August the 23rd, where he just kept grinding away at these horses, and he wins very, very easily at the end, with an 88 Beyer speed figure. Scaramouche might have taken advantage of a fast pace in that race, but he's likely going to get a fast pace once again. This outside post is a concern for trainer Lupe Prasado. When I talked to him earlier this week, he also has told me over the years that he's uncomfortable running horses without Lasix, but you have to do it in these graded stakes events. Looking at Scaramouche's form, he's run 6 times with Lasix. He's won 5 of those in his races without Lasix, 5th in the Bay Shore in New York, 5th in his career debut sprinting. Maybe he just is better with Lasix, but he's in good form. Johnny Velasquez picks up the mount, and he's going to be running late. Wow, this is a fun race. The Grade 2 Gallant Bob. We're kicking off a 50-cent pick 4 on Pennsylvania Derby Saturday. I guess this would be a spread race for me. I'm going to go with Nakatomi, even though the layoff is in play. When I talked to Wesley, he didn't seem that concerned about it. He didn't say there was any sort of a physical issue. It's just they've been waiting for a spot, and this is the one that he chose. He's going to be my top selection because I believe he can benefit from a quick pace up front. He's kept good company throughout his career, and he overcame a moderate pace in his most recent start, also off of a long layoff. Runnin' Son of a Gun is getting the class relief he needs. No Jack Christophers in the Gallant Bob, but keep in mind, he was 41-1 and 56-1 in his last 2 races, and he'll be a mere fraction of that price in this race. And the number 3 Provocateur is just as consistent as they come. He should be right there punching away at the wire. 11-9-3-2 for me. It's the Grade 2 Gallant Bob. It's a sensational afternoon of racing at Parx. Best of luck.